Hi, I'm Evan Hafer, CEO of TwistRate.
And I'm Jeff Kirkham, President of TwistRate.
Together we have over 40 years of special operations experience in tactics and firearms. We've been around the world and taught everyone from soccer moms to the most elite special operations forces. And now we're here to teach you. Hi, I'm Evan Hafer, CEO of TwistRate. I'm here today with the president of TwistRate, Jeff Kirkham.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of marksmanship with the rifle. Just like in our previous videos, or at least with the pistol, what we do is we go into just the general overview. So we like to keep our videos nice and short so you guys can retain the information and then apply it later at the range. So everything that we do is just a general overview at first, then we start breaking into the details of things. So you can stand by for a detailed breakdown of all the fundamentals of marksmanship in both the rifle and the pistol. Today's video is just the overview. We're going to get in, we're going to get out, and get out on the range and do some shooting. So what I like to do is keep everything as consistent as I can between both the pistol and the rifle. We're also building all this proper muscle memory or myelination of the brain. So we're building to progress to being a shooting and moving, or a moving shooter. So I want to be able to progress to that point where I'm moving and shooting at a moving target. That's what we're always trying to progress to. So the first thing I like to start with is the stance, and we build up from the ground. So what Jeff does is he aligns himself with his target or in the direction of travel. His toes are pointed in the direction of travel. He takes one step forward with his support side. When I talk about the support side, all I'm talking about is you divide the body in half. Your support side and my side is the left because I'm a right-handed shooter, and the trigger is on my right side. Obviously, you'd reverse that. Support side would be your other side if you're a left-handed shooter. So support side is a non-trigger side. Firing side is your trigger side. In this case, Jeff is a right-handed shooter. He takes a good step forward with his support hand or his support side. He's faced in the direction of travel. We move up to the knee. There's a good athletic stance in the knee itself. And his weight is projected forward just as if he's moving. Remember, we're always progressing to that moving and shooting platform. As we move up to the hinge, or this hinge point in his hips, we've got to hinge forward from the hips, but maintain the direct relationship between the body and the platform. So as he's moving forward, he's forecasting that weight. His shoulders are roughly perpendicular to the target. Everything's in line with the target. Shoulders are in line, head's in line, chin is perpendicular to the ground. His elbows are nice and tight. So that's stance. As we move up to the grip, obviously he's high on the back strap where we've got the pistol grip of the rifle. His finger is extended above the trigger. His thumb is resting on the selector switch. So as we move around, you can see that his thumb is resting on the selector switch. Now he's got a common grip. What this is, it's a blend between a C grip and a standard foregrip blend. That's fine. You don't have to have this traditional C grip or a traditional foregrip. You can blend those two, perfectly acceptable. So for this grip, he's basically applying pressure, and how or where is he applying pressure from? So are you applying pressure from this arm, Jeff? A little bit. Are you applying from this hand?
Yes.
Yes. So he's got his support hand, he's applying pressure from both. He's actually ringing the rifle just a little bit, right? So he's torquing the rifle in inverse fashion, left and right, in order to get a very, very tight grip or back movement from the rifle into his shoulder. He has proper cheek weld on the actual buttstock itself, and this is where in his shoulder? The pocket of his shoulder. Good job. All right. So everything's in line. Now you can come ahead and relax. He's got a good grip, so that's his firing stance. From this is a standard relaxed position. The weapon is just laid down in front of him. So now if we go back into our firing position, up. So now we're going to talk about sight alignment, sight picture. He's got a standard electronic sight that is readily available on the market. However, what are we looking for in sight alignment, sight picture? What are we looking for, Jeff?
Looking for that red dot, and we want to make sure what's in front of our target, to the left and right of our target, and what's beyond our target.
Awesome. So we're just going to talk a little bit about sight picture, which is whatever sight you're using. So if you have a front sight post in conjunction with a rear sight aperture, we're just going to make that flush. So if it's a peephole, you're going to put that front sight post directly in the center of that peephole, and you're either going to lollipop or you're going to put that thing straight center mass in your target. Stay tuned. We're going to get into the details of sight alignment, sight picture. That's just the overview. So go ahead and come up to your shooting position. Proper sight alignment, sight picture. Now let's get into trigger squeeze. Trigger squeeze. When we talk about trigger squeeze, how much trigger do we want to have on that rifle? For me, if I'm shooting a standard combat rifle trigger, I'm going to have a little bit more of this finger inside the trigger well. So I'm going to be almost to that first knuckle. Provides me a little bit more of a mechanical advantage when pulling the trigger on a higher pound trigger, especially in a combat trigger. Now here, Jeff's going to go ahead and apply his finger to the trigger. He's going to rotate his selector switch to fire. Then he's going to squeeze or pull, I don't care which. And then he's going to pull straight back into his shoulder. He's going to trap that trigger to the rear. And now I'm going to go ahead, because these are dummies, I'm going to reset this. So as I reset or I chambered a new round, he's going to trap that trigger and then he's going to reset it right back to that point where it clicks to reset. He's not going to go past that trigger travel. Click, and he'll do that sequence again. So we've gone through sight alignment, sight picture, and trigger squeeze. What else do we need to cover, Jeff?
Breathing.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about breathing.
Well, when you start talking about breathing, obviously the more that you can move your chest cavity, or the more that you move your chest cavity, the more it's going to disturb that sight picture. So we've got to hold our breath, essentially, when we're breaking that final shot. And there's an ongoing dispute that goes on in the gun world about, do we take a breath in, hold it, squeeze the trigger? Do we take a breath in, let a little bit out, squeeze the trigger? Or do we blow everything out, bring a little bit in, and then squeeze the trigger? And my theory on the world is this. If I'm getting ready to swim across a pool, I've got to be able to hold my breath. So what do? Well, I know where the top of my lungs is, because we do that quite a bit when we're breathing. It's actually, we typically don't breathe enough out, but we're pretty good at breathing in. So when you start talking about shooting and consistency, we can consistently bring in this right amount of air that fills our chest cavity. And also, what happens when you hold your breath for a long period of time? You start shaking. So the more breath that I can fill my chest up with, the longer I'm going to be able to hold my breath so that I can track down range and break that shot and squeeze that trigger. So the world, according to Jeff, is when you're getting ready to break that shot, it's a breath in, hold it, squeeze, 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 boom, then you can start breathing again.
Awesome. So the last thing we're going to talk about is follow through, and we're actually going to demonstrate that as we talk through it. So go ahead and face towards the direction of travel or your target. Okay, so Jeff's got his proper stance, grip, sight alignment, sight picture, breathing. Now we're going to demonstrate follow through. So he rotates his selector switch to fire, he pulls, or there we go, we got a proper trigger squeeze, and now all follow through is what?
Just putting those sights right back on the target.
Putting those sights right back on the target, which means for every round that I shoot, how many sight pictures should I have?
One more.
One more, absolutely. So today what we covered were the fundamentals of marksmanship in reference to the rifle. Remember, this is a general overview. We're going to get into the details. We're going to peel this onion. We're going to peel that onion, and the more that we peel that onion, the more it's going to make us cry. All right, stay tuned.